Hey there, www.andrewmartinmusic.com. This is a Riffvlog on the Chrism, specifically around the blogging of Santos Bonacci, who quite likely is a reincarnation of Pico, the syncretist of the medieval age. I'm not a syncretist. This isn't a video with the intention of hostility. I mean, I really think he's right about a lot of things, especially when it comes to astrotheology, the root of religion, or one of the roots of religion. His understanding of the historic role of the global mafia, global finance. He's definitely right on cue there. But I want to address the Chrism claims. Now, one of the problems with spirituality is that it's not testable in any kind of modern scientific sense. But I think this claim is, and that's why I'm addressing it. The Chrism is apparently some kind of oil that's supposed to go up and down the spine, and according to Santos, is responsible for enlightenment. And he says that there's things associated with this enlightenment, such as like in the movie The Matrix, Neo going, "I know Kung Fu." So he says that it awakens all the dead neurons. Okay. He even says that it's the mechanism responsible for immortality. And I would suppose that this has to do with the rainbow body of the Buddhists and that lore. So my suggestion, and it goes to his framing of this as spiritual science. Now, I've always taken issue with that. I understand what he means, but it's not science in the modern sense. But I think this particular claim could become demonstrable. I think there could be an hypothesis invoked or created or put in place around the idea of the Chrism, and have it become testable under controlled conditions and falsified. So I think this claim actually meets modern scientific understanding as far as injunction. So where could this experiment take place? I would suggest India. I think India, a university in India would have at least some skin in the game of wanting to test this theory, because it's so tied into the Kundalini yoga and stuff like that. So the hypothesis would be to test the claims in an empirical methodology under controlled settings. So let's say if a university set up a controlled experiment over 2 years, and say they have 50,000 test subjects in 2 years, they could extrapolate quite a bit of data from that. You'd have to have the volunteers. You'd have to have people who are willing to have their personal, intimate part of their life made public within a controlled experiment. The lore of this science is that you need to have understanding of the moon phases as the moon traverses into your birth sign for 2.5 days every month. Now, Fortunately today, because of computers, we don't need to seek out an astrologer. We can just click, and I'll put the link in the description of the moon phases. So you could have 50,000 people tested under controlled conditions to make sure that they weren't practicing any kind of sex during that 2.5 days, and that they were committed to fully focusing their will and intention on bringing this Christ oil up. And then you would sort of, do tests before and after, like IQ tests. You could do an IQ test before and then after. There's all kinds of things you could do. You could, have subjective tests on it. Do they feel any different? Do they feel enlightened? But I'm more looking towards something a little bit more substantial. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm living in the van. Self-service isn't too great out here. So I don't want to make this too long. So that's basically it. Some kind of modern scientific study on this particular claim. So I think that's a reasonable thing to ask. I think people who are concerned with truth, metaphysical truth, shouldn't object to this. It opens up the possibility of some of this claim being falsified. I mean, if you get 50,000 people over 2 years and they all come out of this experiment saying, well, nothing really happened. Like, at that point, there's reasonable deduction to say that this is just complete myth. But then there's the other side, that maybe something does happen. Maybe something does register. So, yeah, I mean, the soul aspect of it, I don't think you can test, but I think you could get empirical data from this specific interaction between this oil, because it's physical, it's going up and down the spine, and any positive spiritual implications of that. I believe that is testable. Anyway, this Riffvlog has my 4 songs about God in E-flat minor in the background. 20-minute EP exploring the genes of Isis as an intro. Catch 22, which is about Gnosticism and the demiurge and the situation humans find themselves in. The second song that's playing now is about materialism and atheism and nihilism. The third song coming up here, Final Stand, is about fundamentalism. Then it goes into a little break, a busking break, and explores, the futility of relationships, especially in the modern world. And then it ends with It's Not Who I Am, which is about the Matrix, Indra, the dream world. The only thing I'll say about that side of music that I wrote is that it's all real musicians. Everything was done in the studio. It's all real live music. It's not canned. Because I write about something doesn't necessarily mean that that's what I believe. It's an exploration of spirituality and metaphysics. Unfortunately, when I wrote these, when I recorded these songs, some of these songs are really old, but I had to do it like in my apartment. There would have been a lot more rhythmic, nuance to this side if it had been written in a studio, a rehearsal space with other musicians. But I did what I could. I think it's an interesting side of music. I think it's the exact opposite of what the music industry wants today. They just want propaganda and artists they control. They don't want anybody doing music that explores fundamental questions. We just can't have that in the music industry. Okay, so anyway, Santos, not intended to be an attack upon you. I don't have to agree with everything that you say. I mean, my view on Akhenaten, the Kennys, the Knights Templar, the Masons is not the same as yours. But, you know, I'm willing to not have that be a really hostile contention. That's not my my style. Anyway, you stay well. Peace out. Bye.